You think you've seen it all? Think again, because these 20 things exist only in Japan, and they will blow your mind. Renting a girlfriend. Finding a girlfriend can be tough, especially if you're a busy man in Japan focused on your career. But Japan, known for its unique solutions to modern problems, has an answer: renting a girlfriend. Yes, you can actually hire someone to act like your girlfriend for wholesome activities. She'll hold your hand, share dessert with you, and even laugh at your jokes. But let's be clear, this isn't a dating app, and it's definitely not anything inappropriate. It's simply a way to have companionship without the commitment. Need a +1 for a family dinner or a company event? She's got you covered. In fact, you can even rent a pretend grandpa, a middle-aged man, or just about any family member you need. But don't get the wrong idea. These services are strictly for social companionship. If you're looking for something more, well, Japan has other services for that. Japan's crazy vending machines. Vending machines in Japan are on another level. While most of us think of them as a quick way to grab a drink or snack, Japan has turned them into something much bigger and much weirder. There are around 3.2 million vending machines in the country, which means there's one for every 36 people. These machines bring in a massive $6.4 billion every year, with the average person spending about $60 on them. But using them isn't always safe. Some machines have actually tipped over and crushed people, causing fatal accidents. And of course, there are the usual frustrations, like getting your hand burned by boiling water or having your snack get stuck. But Japan isn't just about regular vending machines. They've pushed the limits of what these machines can sell. You can get all sorts of food, from noodles and rice to hamburgers and bananas. But that's just the beginning. Some machines offer liquor, golf balls, clothing, umbrellas, batteries, and even toilet paper. Want a fortune reading? There's a vending machine for that. Need flowers or something? More adult? They've got that too. In Japan, vending machines aren't just convenient. They're an entire world of surprises. Crazy Japanese game shows. Japanese game shows are like nothing else in the world. While other countries have wild challenges, Japan takes it to another level. These shows are all about putting contestants in the most embarrassing and ridiculous situations possible, on purpose. One of the most popular types is the batsu, or punishment game, where losers face hilarious and humiliating consequences. Some games are pure chaos, like slippery stairs, where people try to climb a staircase covered in grease, or wall of boxes, where contestants balance on shaky boxes while everything around them tries to knock them down. And then there's Human Tetris, where players must squeeze into crazy-shaped cutouts before a moving wall pushes them off the stage. Food challenges are just as bizarre. Candy or not candy forces contestants to bite into random objects. Sometimes it's chocolate, sometimes it's a shoe. Then there's eating noodles straight out of a washing machine. Because why not? The creators of these shows seem to have no limits, constantly coming up with more insane, over-the-top ideas. One thing is for sure, Japanese game shows are unpredictable, hilarious, and completely out of control. Ghost Island Adventure. Ever heard of a real-life ghost island? Well, Japan has one. Hashima Island, once home to 5,000 people, was built around coal mining. But when the mines shut down in the 1970s, everyone left, turning it into an eerie, abandoned place. Now, instead of workers, it's filled with crumbling buildings and creepy silence. But that hasn't stopped people from visiting. Tourists hop on boats just to see this ghost town up close, though they can't explore freely anymore since the buildings are too unstable. But don't worry, the island still feels straight out of a zombie movie. Broken windows, collapsed walls, and empty streets make it look like the world just stopped. If you have a wild imagination, you'll feel the chills. Though, let's be honest, walking around in a tour group of elderly travelers might not be the scariest experience. Just make sure you don't miss the last boat back. Getting stuck overnight would be a whole different kind of horror. Square watermelon. Watermelons are always round, right? Well, not in Japan. While most of us never question why fruits come in the shapes they do, Japan has been busy reinventing them. In Japan, fruit is a big deal. So much that the best-looking ones sell for crazy high prices and are even given as gifts to show deep respect. Taking their love for perfect fruit to the next level, Japanese farmers figured out how to grow watermelons in square shapes, and even in hearts and triangles. At first, the square watermelon was meant to be practical. It fits better in the fridge and is easier to slice. But once people saw how cool it looked, fruit lovers got creative and started shaping them in all sorts of fancy ways. Now, these unique watermelons have become luxury items, with some selling for a whopping $160. Looks like some people are willing to pay top dollar for the perfect fruit. Non-melting ice cream. Ice cream that never melts? Sounds crazy, right? Regular ice cream is made with simple ingredients like cream and sugar, but that's too boring for some people. Instead of just keeping it frozen and eating it before it melts, scientists decided to add something extra, a special liquid called polyphenol. This magical ingredient stops the cream from melting by keeping the water and oil mixed together. So now, your ice cream keeps its shape way longer, no matter how slow you eat. Finally, a solution to a problem no one had. If you always forget your ice cream and let it melt, now you don't have to worry. It just stays solid, even if you take your sweet time eating it. Isn't it great to see science tackling the world's most important problems? Kawaii culture. Japan takes cuteness to a whole new level. The word kawaii means cute, but in Japan it's more than just a word. It's a whole way of life. From Hello Kitty backpacks to adorable outfits, cartoons, toys, and even everyday accessories, kawaii culture is everywhere. It blurs the line between childhood innocence and the strange sight of adults fully embracing it. While the West enjoys cute Nintendo characters, Japan takes it to the extreme. Some people don't just admire these characters, they become them. This isn't just about dressing up for fun, it's a complete lifestyle with matching clothes, hair, and even cutesy mannerisms. But kawaii doesn't stop at fashion, it's woven into everyday life. Every town in Japan has its own mascot, a cute, sometimes creepy character representing the area. These mascots aren't just for souvenirs, they reflect Japan's deep-rooted love for all things cute. Whether it's pop stars, cafes, advertisements, or art, kawaii is everywhere. In Japan, cuteness isn't just a trend, it's a cultural phenomenon that shapes everything around it. Bunny Island. Japan has a whole island filled with wild bunnies. Okunoshima, also called Rabbit Island, is home to thousands of these fluffy little creatures. They roam freely, and no cats or dogs are allowed to keep them safe. Since rabbits breed like crazy, the island is packed with them. Tourists love visiting to feed the bunnies and even lie on the ground while they hop all over them. It's like a real-life bunny paradise, if you're into that sort of thing. But let's be honest, isn't there something a little creepy about thousands of rabbits swarming you at once? Sure, they're cute, but the sheer number feels like something straight out of a horror movie. Imagine being buried under an army of soft, twitchy noses and tiny paws. Arashiyama Bamboo Grove. Walking through Arashiyama Bamboo Grove feels like stepping into another world, if you can dodge all the selfie sticks. This famous spot near Kyoto is packed with tourists, but the towering bamboo creates a magical atmosphere. The grove isn't used for much besides sightseeing, but that doesn't stop visitors from filling their Instagram feeds with its stunning views. Even though it's mostly for decoration, the place looks breathtaking, especially when the soft evening lights make the bamboo glow. For a few rare moments, when the crowd thins out, you can truly take in the peaceful and almost eerie beauty of this one-of-a-kind forest. Tiny sleep box. Ever wondered what it feels like to wake up inside a morgue? Well, a capsule hotel might be the closest experience. In the crowded cities of Japan, space is a luxury, and these tiny hotels push the limits of comfort. Each sleeping pod is just a little bigger than a coffin, 7 feet long, 3 feet wide, and 4 feet high. It's not much, but it's enough to lie down and sleep. Now, why would anyone choose this? The price. A regular hotel in Tokyo can cost around $200 a night, but a capsule hotel? Just $25. Sure, it feels like sleeping in a row of cupboards, but when you're saving that much money, the coffin vibes don't seem so bad. Blue Wonderland. This place looks like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie or a Tim Burton fantasy. Hitachi Seaside Park in Japan is no ordinary garden, it's a jaw-dropping landscape that feels almost unreal. Sitting by the Pacific Ocean, this massive park covers 3.5 hectares and is packed with millions of colorful flowers all year round. But its biggest claim to fame? The breathtaking sea of blue Nemophila flowers. With over 4.5 million of them blooming at once, the park turns into a dreamy blue wonderland that looks like something from another planet. But it's not just about flowers. There's a lot more to see and do. From traditional gardens and fun amusement rides to peaceful walking trails, this park has something for everyone. And let's be honest, if you love taking cool pictures, this is the ultimate spot. The surreal landscapes make it almost impossible to take a bad photo, and your Instagram will never look better. Sumo, Japan's mighty wrestling. Sumo isn't just a sport, it's an ancient tradition that started as a way to entertain Shinto gods. Even today, sumo keeps many of its old religious rituals alive. Only men compete in this unique wrestling style, just like in the old days. The rules? Super simple. 2 wrestlers, called rikishi, step into the ring. The first one to step out or touch the ground with anything other than their feet loses. Sounds easy, right? But sumo is unlike any other wrestling in the world. What makes sumo so wild is the size of the wrestlers. There are no weight classes, meaning a smaller wrestler can go up against a giant. But in sumo, bigger usually means better. That's why sumo wrestlers take weight gain seriously, eating a massive 7,000 calories a day. Some even reach 400 pounds. Their size, combined with the traditional outfit, makes sumo a jaw-dropping spectacle like no other. Cuddle cafes in Japan. Ever heard of a place where you can pay for a hug? Well, Japan has taken loneliness to a whole new level with cuddle cafes. These spots are made for busy and lonely people who don't have time for relationships. Instead of going home to an empty apartment, some businessmen stop by a cuddle cafe where they can pay for a hug, hand-holding, or even just resting their head on someone's lap. Sounds strange? Maybe. But in a country where work takes over life, this has become a real thing. The idea comes from a growing problem. People are too busy to date or even meet new people. So instead of finding love, they rent a little warmth. The whole thing feels a bit sad, honestly. How did life get so lonely that people have to pay for basic human affection? It really makes you wonder, has work taken away too much from life? What do you think? Let's talk about it in the comments. Japan's super toilets. You won't believe how fancy Japan's toilets are. These high-tech wonders are everywhere, replacing old-fashioned toilets with their futuristic features. They don't just flush, they clean, warm, and even deodorize. Some even have more options than a luxury car wash. Imagine sitting down and the seat is already warm. Then, with the press of a button, you get a perfect cleaning experience. How did the world survive without this? It's like we've been living in the dark ages. But be warned, these toilets come with so many buttons, it's easy to get lost in all the options. Some models have different flush settings depending on what you, left behind. The built-in bidet offers choices like oscillating, pulsing, and even a gentle rear wash. If you ever try one, you'll wonder how you lived without it. So if you're visiting Japan, clear your schedule. You might spend more time in the bathroom than you planned. Ramen noodle bath. Ever heard of soaking in ramen? In Japan, going to a traditional bathhouse is normal, but one spa takes things to a whole new level by letting you bathe in a hot bowl of ramen. Yes, you heard that right. They fill a bath with pork-based broth, complete with actual noodles. But don't worry, it's not about mixing bath time with dinner. The spa says this broth is packed with collagen, which helps make your skin look smooth and plump. Sounds crazy, but they swear by it. And if soaking in ramen isn't your thing, don't worry, there are other wild options. You can take a dip in a green tea bath, or even sit in a tub filled with sake. Who knows what sitting in alcohol does to your skin, but it sure makes for a unique spa day. Kit Kat madness in Japan. Kit Kats are just okay, right? These crispy wafer bars covered in chocolate are common snacks worldwide, made in 16 different countries. But in Japan, they're more than just a treat. Why settle for a regular chocolate Kit Kat when you can choose from 300 flavors? The name Kit Kat sounds like kitakatsu in Japanese, which means good luck or surely win. Because of this, Kit Kats have become a lucky charm, often given to students before exams as a symbol of good fortune. But let's talk about those wild flavors. Japan takes Kit Kat creativity to a whole new level. Ever wanted to try soy sauce or green tea Kit Kat? No? Well, how about creme brulee, ginger ale, or cherry blossom? The only real question is, do they taste good with a nice cup of tea? Oh, and one more thing. Do they have a green bean flavor? Because you know, that's Twinkle's favorite. Christmas chicken in Japan. You won't believe this. KFC is a Christmas tradition in Japan. While most holiday customs come from family traditions, this one was actually created by a clever salesman. Back in 1974, the manager of Japan's first KFC restaurant told people that eating fried chicken was an American Christmas tradition. It wasn't true, but since turkey was hard to find in Japan, people went along with it. Before long, it became the go-to Christmas meal for many families, turning a simple marketing idea into a nationwide tradition. Now, nearly 50 years later, KFC is as much a part of Christmas in Japan as gifts and decorations. Around 3.6 million people eat KFC on December 25th, with some placing orders up to 6 weeks in advance. On Christmas Day, long lines form outside KFC restaurants as people wait for their festive feast. It's a surprising tradition, but for many in Japan, Christmas just wouldn't be the same without a bucket of fried chicken. Tuna eyes, a Japanese delicacy. Would you ever eat a tuna's eye? In Japan, this is not just a wild idea, it's a real dish. While many Western diets would never consider it, tuna eyes, also called madama, are enjoyed by many in Japan. People believe eating them can make you smarter, thanks to the omega-3 fatty acids found in fish. Science does support omega-3s being good for the brain, but whether tuna eyeballs hold extra brain power is up for debate. Still, this unique dish remains a favorite in Japanese cuisine. So, how do you eat a tuna eyeball? It's usually boiled and then seasoned with soy sauce, mirin, or sake before being served. The texture is said to be soft and jelly-like, with a rich umami flavor. It might sound strange, but for those who dare to try it, it's considered a tasty and nutritious meal. Would you give it a shot? Japan's nameless streets. Most streets in Japan don't have names. Sounds confusing, right? Japan is already a country full of surprises. It's a place where they make babies cry on purpose and put people through crazy game shows for fun. But if you visit, you'll face another unique challenge: navigating without street names. Unlike the Western world, where streets have names, Japan numbers its blocks instead. So to find a place, you need to know the block number, not the street name. It's not super complicated, but for first-time visitors, it definitely adds to the culture shock. So if you're heading to Japan, keep a map handy because you're definitely going to need it. But hey, maybe getting lost is part of the adventure. Japan is full of strange and fascinating things waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more amazing videos. See you next time.